If you are interested in becoming a future leader of the music industry and want to work for one of the fastest growing, most innovative companies in the industry, then this video might be for you, because Producer Royalty is looking to bring on a future superstar level talented individual to fill an executive assistant position. But if you're not serious about becoming a future leader of the music industry and don't really want to work for our team, then I would suggest you check out one of our other videos. We've interviewed some of the biggest players in the producer community, including platinum producer Ayo Sim, multi-platinum producer and content creator DJ Payne 1, producer grind host TB Digital, other multi-platinum producer Kavi, and a couple music attorneys as well. If this is your first time hearing about Producer Royalty or discovered us through our podcast and not really sure what we do, welcome. I appreciate you tapping in. I'm going to start by just briefly explaining what Producer Royalty is and then going in more detail a little later on in the video. There are two components to Producer Royalty. First, Producer Royalty is a management company for major label producers, which we brand as a debt collector for producers for reasons that I'll explain later on. And currently we have a roster of over 35 producer clients, and I've worked with them on their placements with artists such as Lil Baby, Gunna, DJ Khaled, NBA Youngboy, Rod Wave, and a lot others as well. Second, Producer Royalty is an educational content brand and podcast where we talk about the business side of being a producer. Our mission is simple: to provide the representation, information, and resources that producers need to thrive in their careers. If you found out about Producer Royalty through LinkedIn or Indeed and now you're being redirected to a YouTube video, you've probably already realized that we do things a little differently. That's because we are anything but normal. We are entirely committed to doing things that haven't been done before and not taking any quote-unquote industry norms for granted. So this is not a normal internship or executive assistant position. We are not looking to just offload some busy work onto somebody. We are looking to bring on an A player who could really take this business to a whole nother level and to develop their skills across a whole bunch of different dimensions. And this will be the absolute perfect position for somebody watching this. So we're passionate about ensuring that we use Producer Royalty as a vessel for people to achieve their biggest dreams, not just for our clients, but also our team as well. So if you know anybody who might be a good fit for this position and would be interested in it, I encourage you to please send this to them. And before I go in depth explaining what Producer Royalty is and what we're looking for in more detail, I want to ask you to please hit subscribe below. This is a new channel we're trying to grow, so if you could do that, that will help us a lot. This will be the most informative page on YouTube to learn about the business side, especially of being a producer. I already believe that our Instagram is, but this YouTube is new, so I can't claim that yet. But yeah, if you could please help us out and hit subscribe. We are able to see everybody who subscribes, so if we see a bunch of Gmails from the same person, we will definitely get some bonus points. All right, now let's get to Producer Royalty. All right, so let me start by giving you a little backstory about who I am and what Producer Royalty is and the history of it. So my name is Daniel Cruz Hernandez. I'm a music law paralegal. I'm currently in my last year of law school now, so after I pass the bar exam this summer, it is my mission to start the first producer-focused law firm. I came into the industry really inspired by lawyers like Carl Folks and Navarro Gray, who came into the industry really branding themselves within the hip-hop space, but who also built a following off of educating audiences of creatives. In my first couple years of law school, I interned for a couple paralegal positions, all in the music industry, and I worked on a lot of producer-related matters. So in the summer of 2022, I got a position with Adam Friedman, who's one of the leading voices in the producer community, and about 90% of what he had me doing was representing producers for their major placements. And honestly, most of that process was payment chasing, bothering the artist, lawyer, and the label to actually send the payments and signing the clients up with the payment systems and all that type of stuff. And if you're any type of tapped into the producer community, you know how common it is for producers to just land a major placement but not to be paid for it at all. Probably sounds really ridiculous to people outside of the industry, like how can this song be on billboards and the producer hasn't received any money? Let me tell you, it is extremely common. And I could give a detailed reason as to why that is, but the basic reason is it's really normal in hip hop for songs not to be cleared until after they've come out. So the artist will make a last second determination of the track list and then put out the album without actually having the rights to use the beats. And then the producers don't really know what to do from there. They don't know how to get that resolved, and they don't know who to reach out to actually fix that. Really, the only people that were helping producers with this were lawyers. A lot of times the producers aren't getting paid very much for these placements. Like the upfront fee could be somewhere between $500 to $1,500. It could go a lot higher than that too. But for those producers, they were really hesitant to reach out to a lawyer. One, they don't know how much it costs, but also they don't know any, and a bunch of things like that. And the traditional law firm model had a ton of inefficiencies that weren't meant to address these issues for producers, even though it's a huge issue. So I wanted to build a company that helps producers with their major placements and addresses a bunch of these inefficiencies from the traditional law firm model, and to start building an audience and a client base before I actually became a lawyer. That way I can start my own law firm pretty much right away. So in April of 2023, yes, I know that's very recently, I started Producer Royalty. So the main service that Producer Royalty offers is what I call our debt collection service. I wanted to brand Producer Royalty as a debt collector because that'll let producers know that we're able to help you specifically for placements that you haven't been paid for. But really what we offer is one-off management services, specifically for major placements. And what I mean by that is we take on the role of a producer's manager specifically just for the placements that they hire us for. So how it works is a producer will reach out to us, and this isn't a term you're probably familiar with, but there's this new business model called catalog management management that I don't know many companies that offer it, but what a catalog manager does is essentially, if you don't know, when a stream happens, there are a whole bunch of revenue streams that are generated from that. And more specifically, Producer Royalty is more of a catalog management company. Catalog management is this new type of business model now, or at least new to me. Catalog manager's job is to make sure that the songwriter is collecting all the money that they're entitled to, whether that's public performance royalties, mechanical royalties, sound exchange royalties, master recording royalties, sync royalties, getting their advances, neighboring rights royalties. Yeah, all these royalties are generated from music. And a lot of producers and songwriters don't know this, and it could be a lot to track down and make sure you're collecting all these royalties. So a catalog manager's job is to make sure those are all being collected for their clients. But that's complicated, so that's why we brand it as a debt collector for producers. So anyways, most clients will reach out to us and be like, I have this placement that I haven't been paid for. Can you help me with that? And yeah, when we set up the intro meetings, we talk about that, but then I'll also ask some other questions like, hey, are you collecting all these royalties? Do you know how to do that? Do you want any support doing that? Are you owed any royalties here? And then from that conversation, we wind up helping them with a bunch of other stuff as well too. And then for any future placements that our clients get, they usually wind up hiring us for them because they realize how much value comes by having a manager walk you through and represent you through that process. And we do not sign producers to full management deals. We only work with them on the songs that they specifically hire us for. And on top of these services, we also are beginning to offer a lot more as well. We have an A&R department we're developing right now. We're getting off the ground still, but we're building relationships with a ton of labels and artist managers and people in that space. And we're offering opportunities to our clients and the community for them to get placements with these artists. We also launched a beat store recently, so we're going to be selling beats to artists directly, and we connect our clients to the right publishers and organizations. We're going to start copywriting music soon for our clients, registering their LLCs, and selling sound kits as well. And as I mentioned earlier, Producer Royalty will become a law firm at the end of 2024. So we are really building an empire with Producer Royalty, and things are moving absurdly fast, like way faster than I could have imagined. I had really high expectations for this business, but I couldn't imagine things moving this quickly. You might be wondering, how are you getting this to move so quickly in only like 9 months? Well, the simple answer is educational content. People really sleep on the value of making niche educational content that really help a community and service their needs. So Producer Royalty was designed to address two holes in the market: the representation gap as well as the educational gap. I was getting my master's in music business before I started working at all these law firms, and I wrote my thesis on the topic of producers having difficulty collecting payments. So for that research, I scoured the internet for all I could learn about the business side of being a producer, and it was really difficult to get consistently reliable information about the business. There are not many pages and resources available out there, at least considering how big the community is. So I knew there was a void that needed to be filled, especially from a legal perspective. So I just started creating talking head videos where I broke down some of the things I learned at my legal positions, and they look completely ass compared to this video. But as I expected, they did take off pretty quickly. So in less than a year, we're approaching 10,000 followers on Instagram with a very, very engaged audience. And this YouTube channel is growing pretty quickly as well. We've already had some amazing guests on the podcast, top players in the community, but we have a bunch of other people coming on as well too who are really going to help this channel grow quick. And yeah, I really want to emphasize, if you're interested in getting into content, or even if you're not, educational niche content is insanely powerful. You don't need 1 million followers to build a very substantial business. So yeah, we've had a lot of clients coming in. We're bringing on like 5 new clients a week at this point, which is really absurd because most of them are long-term clients, so they'll continue coming back to us. And I really wanted to shout out my team real quick that has made this growth possible. Shout out A1 Music Group, DJ Ice from A1 Music Group, and Dan Montano. They are absolute superstars, and they've been working with me to help build out this company on the back end and handle most of these client matters that are coming in. Shout out Jerome Grace, another talented manager that I've been working closely with, especially on publishing. Shout out Panic, my A&R. He's a superstar. Shout out Sophie, who's also on my A&R team as well, and the whole team at BeatStars as well. You guys are fucking amazing. But we really do need some more hands on this team, so we are looking to expand our bandwidth and bring on an executive assistant. All right, so that was some background on Producer Royalty. Now let's talk about the executive assistant position. If you are looking to get into the music industry, this is going to be one of the best opportunities in the entire world. I genuinely believe that with all my heart and soul. And a lot of what I say right now is probably going to really excite you. But we are only looking to fill one executive assistant position, so I hope I don't get your hopes too high, but there will be more positions in the future. I do want to emphasize that this will be a relatively demanding and challenging role. You will be challenged, and you will be doing a bunch of things that you've never done before, and engaging with a lot of big players in the music industry. The way people learn best is just getting thrown into things, so you're going to try things that probably will be difficult for you at first, but that's part of being an entrepreneur in the music industry especially. If you haven't already, check out the job listing. I won't read the whole thing to you, but essentially this person will be my right-hand man or woman and work with our team as well too. They will be trained to do basically everything that I do. I'm not great at a lot, but I do a lot. So really looking to have somebody fill in for me in a lot of capacities. That way me and my executive team could step up and focus on more of the bigger picture vision stuff and being able to step outside of the day-to-day business. And I genuinely enjoy delegating and allowing other people to take ownership of their own projects. So yeah, they're going to provide a lot of administration help, like coordinating and booking different travel arrangements or studio sessions or podcasts, and kind of acting as a gatekeeper to my time as well. They'll be helping with a lot of our client stuff too, including reaching out to labels and different artist managers and lawyers and trying to, work with them to actually pay our clients. We have a bunch of client meetings. Most of my afternoons nowadays are taken up with client calls or new partner calls, business calls, and things like that. And I'm looking for somebody to join those meetings with me and to talk to various players, maybe even take some of those meetings for me and really help us contribute to high level decisions. Basically from 4 to 8 p.m. every day, I'm on the calls with various different partners or clients. Really could be anybody, because at this point, there's always new people reaching out who want to connect and kind of attach themselves to Producer Royalty. And I'm always on the lookout for new partners as well too. So you'll be invited on most of those calls, which will be an amazing way to start getting your face out there and to start building your network out. Because to be honest, in this industry, a lot of it is just recognizing other people. Unless they've seen you before, they're oftentimes not really interested in working with you. So just by being on the call, that gives you a great introduction to start talking to new people. We'll also need a lot of help managing the social media accounts as well. I'm not familiar with TikTok at all, so I basically don't upload on there, even though I definitely should. Because currently, right now, I'm handling all the social media stuff myself, on top of making all the content, taking client meetings, and all the other stuff on top of law school. So really looking to hand that off to somebody as well. And we've built a social media following largely off of really being active with the community, engaged, and answering questions for them. So I'm looking to train somebody to know as much as I know. That way they could be as responsive on the DMs and helping people out and giving guidance. And it doesn't always have to be me responding. And this is another big thing for me, and I'm sure you as well. I'm going to be traveling all over the country for podcasts and community events and things like that. And I'm really looking for an assistant that can come out with me on those trips, help me arrange those trips, and, be with me on certain meetings and stuff like that I have out there, help me with the podcast shoots, but also kind of help me shoot content as well too. I'm really looking for somebody that could also, feels comfortable being behind the camera a little bit, because I really want somebody that could help with BTS content and just filming various things that we wind up going out and doing. And yeah, I also want to train the assistant to handle the debt collection catalog management service and to understand the entire placement process from beginning to end, which for that involves a good amount of researching sometimes, like researching who to reach out to at the labels, then actually reaching out to them and getting them to respond, then negotiating with them as well too, knowing what to ask for and things like that, or things that you would wind up learning. Signing the producers up for the label payment systems, which can be kind of complicated, drafting invoices, and sending follow-ups, which is honestly the most important part of the process. And on top of that, I want the assistant to be available for the A&R department as well too, because we're constantly putting together different beat packs for labels and, like I said, our beat store. So we could use help building relationships with other A&Rs and managers and people in the industry, but also curating those beat packs and organizing our database of files and things like that. And also just being able to network through Instagram or other platforms on your own and being able to bring in clients is something that would be an amazing value add, because honestly, it's really not that hard. If you reach out to the producer community, they're very trusting, for better or for worse. So if you have somewhat of a brand that they could trust on your own personal page, or whether through Producer Royalty page maybe too, you could bring in a lot of clients just by cold DMing. We're looking to host various different events and things like that, beat battles and networking events, so could use a hand for that as well. And yeah, just various other things related to just the administration of the company. Like I said, there's going to be a whole list in the description for the job listing, so you could check that out and let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, just basically acting as an administrative support for everything else that goes into the business and that I handle on a day-to-day. But on top of that, we really are looking for a business partner, not just an assistant. I understand there's going to be a lot of training that goes into this, but we want somebody who's really confident in their abilities and their ideas and really has a mindset that they're able to execute on things quickly and overall contribute to the high-level decisions that we make on a daily basis. I briefly touched on some of these, but I want to talk about the benefits of working with Producer Royalty as well. So daily opportunities to build relationships with major label producers, music executives, entertainment attorneys, A&Rs, record labels, and a lot other roles as well. Like I said, I really want somebody to be on the calls with me, taking calls for us, traveling with us, talking to people through email and DMs as well, and all that type of stuff. It is an amazing opportunity to build relationships. And I'm really passionate about encouraging our team to have their own personal projects on the side too, and leveraging Producer Royalty's brand to help them execute on those. For instance, Panic is a graphic designer who's our A&R, and he leverages his conversations through Producer Royalty to promote his graphic design business. Another benefit is flexible work hours. So basically, I work on pretty much my own time. Now, I will be expecting about 5 days worth a week. As a fully remote business, we work pretty much entirely on our own time. And I really believe that to think really creatively, you need your own time and your own schedule. When you're put into a box of a schedule, our minds kind of get put into a box as well. So having that freedom of time is something I really value for myself and for our company. So I will be expecting you to be responsive 5 days a week, but if some days you wake up a little late and you don't get to it until 3 p.m., then that's pretty much fine. And if you need days off, that is not a problem at all as well too. I just ask that you have open open communication about whatever your scheduling conflicts or obligations are. I'm also really big on recognizing our teams for their achievements and supporting us. If you have some type of success, whether that's separate from producer royalty or through producer royalty, I would love to highlight you on the producer royalty pages on YouTube and Instagram, and to really make our assistant look like a superstar and to build their own personal brands. Because honestly, the more that you build your personal brand, the better it is for producer royalty as well. So that's something we really want to encourage. And yeah, there will be a lot of commission opportunity as well too. Like I said, if you're reaching out to producers in the DMs and you get some clients for us, then we will cut you in on whatever business that you bring us. And there will be opportunities for mentorship as well too, not just from me. I personally really love mentoring people. I love helping people. I love listening to people's goals and trying to, use my resources and knowledge to actually help them get there. And I will definitely be a dedicated mentor for you, but there's definitely other people on our team too that would love to help you reach your goals as well. But on top of all these explicit benefits, I'm personally really passionate about this company and the music industry in general. And I believe that every role or delegation in this company we can fill with somebody who absolutely loves what they do and really wants to make a career out of it. So I'm a firm believer in giving opportunities to people who really, really love what they do. Of course, you won't love every second of everything that we delegate, but if there is something that you don't like and you voice that to me, I will take that into real consideration and probably just find somebody else to do it. Because at the end of the day, if we want the best work done, it should be done by somebody who really likes it. So if one task isn't for you and you don't like that, then just feel free to let me know and I'd be happy to find somebody else to do it. All right, so now let me talk about briefly the type of culture that we're looking to build at Producer Royalty. And this is a really, really important thing for me, especially as a remote company, because it can be really hard to build a culture with a remote company. And ultimately, it comes down to the people that you bring in. So as a high interest company, we're really only looking to bring in team members who share the excitement and passion that we have and who are deeply inspired by our mission and who really want to contribute to it. And for us to build this dream team that we need to really make this system go, we all need to be on the same page with different standards and principles and values that we embody. So the work isn't just about the end product. We're looking for somebody who could really build out this culture with us and the long-term vision of what we're trying to do. So one thing that's especially important is the ability to execute quick. When we get an idea, we can get really excited about it, but then within the next day or two, that excitement often wears down. So that's why when you get an idea, we got to just start writing and working on it pretty quickly without necessarily having to be told. So we love creative-minded people and to surround ourselves with them, but not just creative-minded, also build out systems for themselves to actually execute on ideas. Another value is we are obsessed with our clients, or at least obsessed with their problems. I heard some entrepreneurs talk about you want to be so close to the problem that you can lick its face, which is a weird thing to say, but I definitely see where it's coming from. The more close that I get to the problems, the more you can actually start to create solutions for them, because there's a lot of nuances, and what separates us in Producer Royalty from all of our competitors, or at least the law firm competitors, is that we are tapped into the producer community and we know what's going on. So for our team to work at its highest level, we need people who are actually going to invest into learning and engaging with the community. We want to understand how to speak to them and speak their language, how what we do impacts other areas of their life, what it feels like to actually go through their process, and just immerse yourself in the entire customer experience. Another value is we like to give with no expectation of return. So I built Producer Royalty on just giving free resources, giving free knowledge, but also giving free help as well too. And when you keep giving is how you start to build trust. I have a saying that nothing compounds in value faster than goodwill, or at least I've heard that before. I didn't come up with that, but I definitely believe that to be true, and I'm seeing it firsthand. Our biggest clients often come from referrals from other clients. So even if giving to this client doesn't necessarily benefit us, the business model that we're creating, we're building a reputation in this community faster than I could possibly imagine any company doing. And that comes from giving and actually engaging and working with the most people that we can. This strategy is working so well for us so far and is already financially paying off. And the more that we give and the more we engage with the community, the more that they'll tell us what they actually need. Another thing that we believe is empowering our team to take full ownership of the project. If you work with me, you will see that I will probably reiterate more than anybody you know that this is something I want you to take ownership of. Like, try to figure it out on your own before you come asking for questions. The reason why I'm putting you in place is because I see you as somebody who has some type of expertise. We do not micromanage at all, because the point of delegating is to free up your own bandwidth. So if you're worried about what somebody else is doing, that takes away from your own commitment and time that you can spend. So we want to empower our team to take ownership of their assignments and projects and to be able to handle as much on their own as possible. Another core value is we embrace criticism. On this team, I pride ourselves in knowing that if you're receiving criticism, it is always coming from a good place, or at least 98% of the time. We really want to see each other win. There's no ego with the people that I surround myself with, because ultimately, the better that you do, the better that we can do together. And one of the main drivers of success is feedback. And if you don't get feedback, then it's really hard to improve. So besides actually receiving feedback in a gracious way, we also expect you to give feedback in a very gracious and humbling way as well too. So yeah, this is a role I have complete faith in the direction of our company. I feel so certain that I know that this will be the biggest management company in the music industry in only a few years, at least number of clients that we're servicing wise, and at least social media following wise. And I do have very high expectations for the person that we're going to bring on. So if that intimidates you and you don't feel some type of, if you don't feel like you're up for a challenge in that way, then this might not be the role for you, because I have complete unwavering faith in the direction that we're going. And we're only going to get there if we bring on people who are fully committed to what we're building. Of course, you could have your own stuff as on the side, but who really are invested in seeing this company win. So that was kind of explanation of the culture we're building at Producer Royalty. And now I'm going to break down just a couple things that we're looking for in the candidate that we're trying to bring on specifically, skill set wise. But I do want to emphasize, primarily we're hiring for cultural fit. So that's why I'm going to spend a lot more time talking about culture than I am about actually skills and talents that we're looking to bring on. I believe that most skills or traits even can be taught to people if they have the right mindset to actually grow and develop, are driven to reach a certain destination for themselves or for whatever they're trying to build. I know this video is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to outline a few ideals that we're looking for Producer Royalty. So we're looking for industry expertise in some dimension. If you have no background in the music industry and haven't made any relationships in the music industry and don't know much about the business side of it, then this is most likely not for you. I just uploaded the listing yesterday on LinkedIn. We already received like 60 applications just in the first couple hours. So there's going to be a lot of competition. So it's probably, if you have no background in the music industry, I don't want you to waste your time applying, and this is probably not for you. We really want somebody who has a future in the music industry and that we can help boost to reach their fullest dreams, because this is the most high demand industry probably in the world. So it doesn't make much sense for us to help somebody get into it who's not fully invested into it. We're also looking for somebody for very high organization skills and the ability to communicate ideas and to be professional when talking to clients and other partners and things like that, and to be an extension of our own voice. There's going to be a lot of different types of projects, so we're going to need to build systems for multitasking as well too. So you got to have the skill set to be able to multitask. Somebody who is a self-starter as well, meaning that you don't have to be told to start to do something, and you have it within you to just start moving on things without having to be told. Attention to detail is really big too. There's a lot of things in the email chains and filling out forms and things like that kind of require having a good attention to detail. A knowledge of social media platforms is really helpful as well. Our entire build is built on social media, and we want to be able to exceed on that at the highest level possible. So putting somebody in charge of the social media that doesn't understand social media isn't going to work very well. We're looking to build future leaders as well. So people who have already shown some signs that they are able to be a leader, but also really want to lean into being a leader as well too. Like I said, this is growing very quickly, and I'm going to be focused on building out the law firm within the next year. Got to have somebody who's going to be able to step up and be able to handle that. And that brings me to ideally somebody who could see themselves working with the company for a long term. Of course, we're not asking for any promises you will work with us for a long term. That wouldn't make any sense. But ideally somebody who could see it being a possibility for themselves, a serious possibility. And ideally somebody based in the East Coast, around New York area. And location wise, this will be mostly pretty much entirely remote, but it would be nice to have somebody in New York or LA or Atlanta, which are all cities that I'm going to be traveling to very frequently. So that would be nice, but definitely not required. So to briefly talk about compensation for the position, if you're strapped for cash and you're looking to make a lot of money within the next year, this is probably not the position for you. As a startup, our budget is really small right now. We're reinvesting pretty much everything that we have into building the empire that we envision so we can move this as fast as possible. But we are passionate about also paying our team for their time as well too, for sure. I understand that superstars should expect superstar level pay at some point. And after that, we can have conversations about what your needs are financially and how we can meet them. But like I said, there will be ample commission opportunities. So if you wanted to, you can invest into really getting Producer Royalty new clients, and then that would obviously benefit you as well. And like if you're helping run the Beat store, for instance, and you're helping us make sales on that side, then you could get cut in on that money as well. And I also love to just give random bonuses. So if I give a task with one of my previous interns, I asked them to help me book my travel arrangements, and I kind of felt like kind of bad asking her to book the travel. So I was like, if you book the travel for me, you can have $100 for that time. So I like to just do random things like that too. But in the long run, I'm passionate about making sure that our team is paid substantially for their time. All right, so that was a little lengthy breakdown. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. And I want to emphasize again that, if you don't meet all that criteria, I still encourage you to apply, because primarily we're hiring for cultural fit. And that's something that could be really hard to communicate on a resume. And to reiterate briefly, the primary qualities are somebody who's especially passionate about the music industry, who's a sharp and quick learner, and wants to contribute to our vision and could see themselves being with us for a good amount of time. If you feel like you don't fit the qualities for an executive assistant specifically, I encourage you to reach out to me and still maybe pitch yourself in another dimension, or just start a conversation with me. It doesn't have to be a pitch, because ultimately what's making us grow this fast is partners. So we love to connect with new people and build partnerships across a bunch of different dimensions. So if you have any ideas for us to grow our business or to work with us specifically, like I said, I encourage you to reach out and feel free to DM me on Instagram. There there's going to be a lot of applications for this position. So if you don't get it, please don't knock yourself for it. There's going to be a lot of positions that open up in the future as well. But I appreciate you guys for watching until the end, and I look forward to working with one of you guys. I can't wait to meet some of you guys and to build an empire that truly services a community that's in need in the most fun industry in the entire world.